YouTubers. You know who I am, AJ Copeland. This is Topics to Go. This is actually my second video of tonight. Um, this is my second video on the topic masculinity versus femininity. This is part 2. And tonight I want to talk about my true identity. Masculinity versus femininity, my true identity is the topic tonight. Now, when in the part 1 where I gave examples, talked about, and you want to see part 1 in order to understand part 2. As I talk about the differences of masculinity and femininity. Now, I can take that in two different ways. I can look at it in the perspective of a male and a female, or I can look at it in the perspective of a straight male and a gay male. So there's several directions I can go here as I talk about masculinity versus femininity. But tonight is true identity. Now, when we think about identity, people mainly think about the character of an individual, the personality, their name, anything that identifies who they are. Identity, Our driver license identify who we are. Our name, where we stay, our social security card identifies us as who we are. But I want to use that thought in the way of talking about who you are as an individual as it relates to how you interact with others. Primarily, whether it be sexually or intimately or just regular, just standard interaction, conversation, making friends, doing things with these individuals and going out and things like that. So let's bring something to the forefront, okay? In today's society, I say that there is homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuals, okay? And that's the society that we live in as it relates to the United States of America. Now, there are other things going on in other countries, but I'm going to speak about the United States of America because that's where I'm from, that's where I live. But when we think about identity, we think about true self. We think about when, someone gives their name, in this day and time, people give nicknames, or they give names that friends call them, but they don't necessarily give what they call their government name. So they don't really give 100% of their identity, because if you don't know their government name, you don't really know who they are. And that's the same as it relates to DL, straight, and gay men. Now let's deal with the whole ideal of this masculinity as I talked about in the first video. And tonight I want to talk about men that reject their true identity, or that runs from the reality of their true identity. And what is their identity? The fact that they are attracted to other men. There are a lot of men throughout the city in which I live, and I'm sure in the city in where you live, where we call them DL men, trade or DL men, and that prefer sleeping with men, but do not want anyone to know that they're doing it. So they are creepers. They creep during the nights or certain hours during the day, and they make it easier, or they try to make it easier to meet other guys in such a way where it won't bring attention on themselves. But a lot of them are not happy because they're struggling with their identity, and I call identity crisis. A lot of them are not happy because they're back and forth from male to female, from female to male. And they like both, and that's known as bisexual. But I'm going to take it a little farther. I believe that when you start talking about homosexuality and gay men, I think that it has more to do with emotions. It has more to do with the intimacy of the heart. When individuals find themselves liking and caring and loving the same sex as they would a female. And that takes it a little bit farther, okay? And so the struggle that most of these men have, the masculine men, as you would say, the straight men, as you would say, the struggle that most of them have is trying to figure out what they want, trying to figure out what is it that they truly, truly want from either one, male or female. Is it the sex, or is it something more intimate? And there have been situations and cases where a male may find himself engaging in a sexual activity with another male with the idea that that's all it is, and it grows to be something more, and to their surprise, they find that they're more attracted to men than they are female. And this is the struggle that goes out through the community, I'm pretty sure in every city, when it comes to this whole ideal of this thing about gay men and straight men and women. So for one to confess their true identity, they have to first get past the shame. And the shame is because of what they have been taught throughout their life. Most of us grew up knowing that we were men and knowing that we're supposed to be with a female. And so when you grow up in that type of environment, in that type of family, and you find yourself getting off the mark, doing the untraditional thing, which is being attracted to the same sex, you begin to hide what you really desire. And you start sneaking and creeping. The danger of that is that most men that are like that are involved with females. They're involved with women. And when you are involved with women and you're dealing with men, you're creating a habit. You're creating some major issues, especially when there are children involved. So how does one slowly come around to confessing, accepting their true identity? Because there's only two options. There's only two. You either make a decision to stop sleeping with men and sleep with women only, or you make a decision to stop sleeping with women and sleep with men only. There's only two options. Of course, people want to try to make many other options, but there's actually only two options in reality. Okay? So, in order for one to come across eventually and make a decision to really accept themselves for who they are, they first have to make a decision to choose. And that is the one thing that most men do not want to do. They don't want to make a choice. And only if you make a choice will you be able to take hold to your true identity and to walk out free from the bondages that keeps you bound and keeps you unhappy. Now, some may say, are you sanctioning this or are you sanctioning that? I'm not sanctioning anything. My thing is that I just want to see individuals happy in their state of mind and in their hearts. And whatever decision they need to make to get there, then that's the decision that they should make. There's too many people that are trying to take control of other people's lives, and they don't even have their own lives right. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm not trying to take control of anyone's lives, but I am giving food for thought, giving something for people to think about. Because, this whole thing about masculinity and femininity has more to do with the struggles of identity, the struggles of trying to figure out who you are, the struggles of trying to be accepted from other people. Because if you really think about it, people have struggles with identity because they're afraid of what other people are going to say and do about them, or do to them, or what people are going to say about them. Preferably, those of the Bible, preachers, ministers, pastors, that preach various sermons about homosexuality, and gay men, and straight men, and sleeping with men, and all this kind of stuff. But there's a lot more going on besides homosexuality. Of course, we all can contest to that. But I just want to say, in order for you to find your true identity and accept your true identity, you got to be truthful with yourself, and you have to begin to really think about, what is it that you want? What do you want? Are you in it just for the sex? Are you getting yourself engaged with men and women primarily for the sex? And if that be the case, then be truthful, be honest. Let it be known. Tell these individuals, hey, I'm just in it for the sex. I ain't looking for nothing serious. I'm not trying to have no relationship. I'm not trying to get married. I'm not trying to be committed. I'm just in it for the sex. And give them that right to make a decision if they want to continue with you or not. But if you're one of these men that are running around here confused and don't know which direction to go, you just got to slow down a little bit, think about it a little bit, and say to yourself, can I care for another man? Can I love another man? Do I really want to be with another man? And if you don't, then make a decision to be with women and women only. Because I'm telling you, it is not a wise decision to try to be with both. It's not a wise decision. So, if you really want to know what masculinity is first being true to your identity. Secondly, being honest and speaking and living the truth. That's true masculinity. Not walking around calling gay men, since you're not gay, calling gay men and homosexuals punks and sissies and all that, and then waiting till the sun go down, and then you find yourself laying in the bed with one of them. That's not cool at all, And a lot of that goes on, a lot of it. And so I think that people need to just really, really, really come together and really figure out what they're doing with their lives and really figure out what they want. Okay? And then if they do that, they'll feel much better in the end. Trust me. They'll feel much better in the end. This is just part 2 of masculinity versus femininity. There's so much more I can talk about, and I will be talking about it from time to time on video, and I may, change the topic a little bit, but I'll come back again and talk some more about this topic. If you want to hear more about the various topics, hit me up on my inbox, rate my videos. I am on Facebook, True Self Motivations, tag True Self Motivations, and I want you to, just hit me up, interact with me. I will respond, no doubt. So again, this is AJ Copeland. This is Topics to Go. And I thank you so much for tuning into my videos. And I hope that they have been of service to you and a help to you. Remember, this is only food for thought. Only food for thought. Coming from my perspective, and how I feel as it relates to life and things. So, if you agree, that's wonderful. If you don't agree, that's okay, because you have that's your prerogative. But I hope that I'm saying something that kind of moves you to make some type of decisions in your life. Thank you again. And remember, always remember, during your free time, catch a topic or two. Later.